Dodge, Yahoo, Phantom of the Forest, you Spear, Finger, Fire Dragon, Ohio Grassman, Silver Giant, Bloodless Hollow, West Virginia Vampire, Coyote King, Hogzilla, Devil, Dark Coyote Killer. Cave creature, Mothman, Smoke Wolf, a Lizard, Demon, Ashman, Grafton Monster, Cow-killing Bastard, Shadow Creature, Dustman, Cherokee, Death Cat, Wild Man, Great Fire Rape, what else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber, catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet. Snarly Gastro Team, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven Mocker, Midnight Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry Wolfman or Wolf County need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber, catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet.
Well, this here's BIGFEETS, the only Mountain Monsters Watch-Along podcast. I'm Robert Brockway, and to all those willing and unwilling tools of the Shadow Wars, I dedicate this podcast.
And I'm Sean, baby. That any way to talk to a guy who offers to buy you a beer? Shit. The only reason young white guys come over here is for dope. I could tell he had something heavy down the front of his pants by the way he moved. Got a load in your pants, I asked? Lot bigger than the one you're carrying, pencil dick white motherfucker. They had picked the wrong guy for those types of comments. I could have told them that I knew all about racism. I had generations of it stored up in my blood. My parents had been victims, their families imprisoned, tortured, and executed because of their race and nothing more. Give me your coat, the young guy demanded. His companion still hadn't said a word. Maybe he didn't know how to talk. I said, give me the coat, motherfucker. He struggled a moment before pulling a pistol from under his jacket and belt. Come on, I'm getting cold waiting. They thought I was unarmed and mistook my relaxed posture for being off guard. I slowly removed the coat and held it out toward the guy with the gun. He stepped forward, reaching out to grab it. Mistake! The coat dropped from my fingers. I grabbed his wrist before his mouth could drop open in surprise. His arm snapped with that sickening sound a pool stick makes when you snap it over your knee.
Before I say my name, I want it known that none of those words are Sean's own words. He's reading from an obscure out-of-print book called The Secret Man by Frank Dukes, D-U-X. Now, you cannot verify that he did not just make up that entire quote, because that book is totally unavailable for any amount of money. And with that said, and me being unaware that he was going to read that passage, my name is Jason Pargin. I am a New York Times best-selling author. There's no way that book's real. There's no way the listeners think that's a real book. They have to think you're writing those every couple of weeks just as a bit. Like, wow, yep. Look at this funny book I found. You'll never find it. I swear all of this is the words of this other man who would have sued you into oblivion, by the way, if those were not his words. But no, Frank Dukes proudly stands by every word of that.
I think if he was to sue me over reading his book, I think the discovery might reveal that he has confessed to about 211 murders in this book.
Some truly vile racism in there. Although he then spun it to be I am the racism.
Yeah,
it's the Walter White speech, but it's like, I am the racism.
Don't try racism on me. I am the racism.
To be clear, sir, I will transcribe everything you said in dialect with the exact slang you used. You cannot accuse me of racism when I represent this conversation we had. I have a photographic memory.
See, this is why when we talk about this book and we're like, Jason sometimes says, what would we possibly add to that? How could we talk about that? I could talk about that passage for easily 2 hours. There's a lot going on in that passage.
Because the self-awareness.
Starting with the dick stuff.
Yes. It was like real, like changing of gears to be like, no, we're gonna fight, not fuck. But also like to be self-aware enough to know, like, I should throw in a paragraph here to let everyone know I have a little rhetorical authority when it comes time to talk about racism.
Because I realize all of this would be unforgivable otherwise, but I have a pass for everything I'm about to say here.
Yeah.
And now that I have, if you're listening, you couldn't see on the video, my intro was from The Secret Man as well.
How much
Robert,
did that
what
book
did
cost?
you pay?
This is true. This book arrived today with no return address and nobody taking credit for it. It just showed up on my doorstep. And until somebody does, thank you, first of all, whoever sent this to me, until somebody does take credit for it, I am going to assume it was Frank Dukes.
Robert, there's a curtain behind you. Very slowly, without turning around, I want you to use your camera to see if at the bottom of the curtain there's a pair of feet perfectly blending with your wall.
How would I ever tell that, Jason? How would I ever know? There would be no way.
It wouldn't matter. You're already dead. All that we could do is watch your head fall off your body.
I think you would find him like perfectly face painted to be Jackie Chan in the poster of Jackie Chan that's behind me, and then it would just come off the wall and come alive, and you'd be like, my last words would be like, you cannot do that, Frank Dukes. That is not permissible.
He's painted the back of his head to be Jackie Chan so that he can turn around and be Frank Dukes.
And he would kill you while screaming into the camera, I'm allowed to do this. My parents were discriminated against.
He gave me the Chan pass. I know him. He was in the Kumite with me.
Well, Brockway, that was page 87 if you want to see if I was pronouncing motherfucker right. There's a hyphen and it ends with an A. So he does code switch while he's typing.
Code switches in the prose. As all true writers do.
Because Jason thinks I'm making it up. If Brockway read exactly what I just said, would you believe that the book is true?
Why would that mean that? It just means you sent me. It just means you sent me the passage.
It just meant I made a second one.
Got a load in your pants, I asked. A lot bigger than the one you're carrying. That's all I wanted to read.
I wouldn't
just
mind
wanted
hearing the
to
whole
revisit
thing again.
that. Mother dash fucker. Yeah, there it is. He's got the head waggle and everything.
Yeah, in brackets.
Even if you had that conversation with someone, if you then went and told a third party about this encounter and you did the voice, even if you were doing it accurately, I don't think you're allowed to do the voice. You know what I'm saying? But like, even if it was perfect, like dead on, just the moment you start doing the voice, I think you're in the wrong. Even if you're doing it, even if it's correct.
Yeah, you're telling a very different story. Yeah.
This is a struggle I'm very familiar with. I agree with you. Okay, of course, this isn't a Frank Dukes podcast. It's becoming one more and more by the day. Eventually, a few months from now, Jason will slowly a copy of The Secret Man will hover up in front of Jason's camera. We'll all just pivot seamlessly to the podcast.
The moment something like that arrives at my physical address, I'm moving.
That's a good idea. Yeah, a madman knows where you live, Brockway.
The moment somebody with access to that book knows where I sleep at night, that's the moment they will not find me there. The next time they try to come into my bedroom, there'll just be a lump and they're going to pull the sheet back. Aha, it's pillows with block of C4 about to explode.
And you learned that from the book they sent you.
Yeah, exactly.
But for now, this is a Mountain Monsters Watch Along podcast, and before we get into it, we've got to do some plugs. Jason.
I don't know when you're going to be listening to this. The paperback of the book that I've been promoting for the last 2 years comes out on November 18th. I'm starting to worry about this black box of doom. If you were holding off on buying it because the hardcover is an outrageous $30, an amount of money that would buy you all of the pornography in the world, I think, then you can get the paperback, which is only like $26. They're all outrageous. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, books are expensive for one reason, and Brockway can tell me this. It's because authors like cheese. We like the cash. We like nice things.
I just don't want to go to jail.
The publisher comes to me and says, "Hey, we would like to offer this at a discount so everybody can read it." I was like, "That's fine as long as I get my, like, that's coming out of your cut." Like, I'm getting.
So if you're upset that it never goes on sale, that's Jason Pargin's fault in particular.
Yeah, 80% of that money goes right into my pocket, and I turn it around, goes right into crypto. I launched these meme coins, just one meme coin rug pull after another. I produce nothing for the world, and I am rich beyond your wildest dreams.
$sign rug pull coin. Let's launch that one. Anybody that goes for it deserves what they get.
Yeah.
Sean, how about you?
I work at a website called 1-900hotdog.com, and I'm also all about that cheese. So we pay our writers more than any other media outlet, probably in the last 15 years. And so you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/1900hotdog, to support our world-class comedy writers.
Or you can use that money to buy my fucking book.
Oh, right. Yeah, forget my plug.
No, do both. Do both, of course. Go support 1-900hotdog, and then you have. I'm legally obligated to tell you you have to buy my new book. It's called "I Will Kill Your Imaginary Friend" for $200, and like somehow I don't know how this is happening. Every scheme or grift I enact to avoid the consequences that are coming to me, it goes wrong. Like, that's not what I want. I want to get out of the consequences without having suffered them. It's only getting worse. I threatened to jihad my publisher's lawyers. Tried to declare myself a sovereign author of the sea. That didn't work. So every time I do that, I have to sell more books. And it's the numbers, folks, the numbers getting unattainable. So I'm going to pivot here. I'm pretty sure everyone who's listening to this podcast has already bought my book. And if they haven't, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna come for you. There's gonna be a reckoning someday. But I'm gonna assume you have, and you don't know what else to do. And I'm here to tell you, like, you know some people, you know some other people. Maybe some of those people are elderly and they're vulnerable and they're confused. Trick those people into buying many copies of my book. You have a grandma. She loves you. You probably use AI to make her think her husband's back from the dead or something, and once you buy my book, you can do this. I'm telling you. I'm pretty sure it's legal for me to ask you to trick old people into buying.
My grandma lost everything in Jason coin.
Just do it. Just trick the elderly into buying my book. I don't care. I don't care if they read it. You don't have to read it. You don't have to like my book. You just have to know that if I go down, and I am going down, it looks like I'm taking this all with me. If you like this podcast, you need to act now and save this podcast from me. Thank you.
Children out there listening, I know that half the audience of Big Feets is under 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Get your parents' credit card.
Yes.
Buy
absolutely.
as many copies until the credit card stops working. You don't even have to get the card. You go to Amazon, it's stored in there. Just log in. You know their password.
You know what? You're probably invited to a lot of like your friends' houses. This is the age when you're going over your friends' houses. Take their parents' credit cards.
Yeah.
It's right. It's all the same. It's all the same money. It all spends. Plug in as many copies as they let you buy. Just max out that number. Thank you.
Motherfucker.
All right.
Because the value of Brockway's book is only going to go up. Because each one is, I don't know if you realize this, the technology he used. Each digital copy is a distinct footprint that itself is a collectible. So there's rumors that these things are going to be worth $2 million a year from now. It's basically, you'll be able to quit your job. Yeah.
Each and every one. And like,
Jimmy Fallon bought
you're
one.
Free.
Jimmy,
you're free to
Fallon.
Not Kimmel. Kimmel didn't buy one, and you saw what happened to him. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the Mountain Monsters podcast, which we ostensibly are. Previously on Mountain Monsters, I know what you're saying already. You can't do this to me. Last episode, you said they were done with serial storytelling. No, I'm sorry. They're not done with the two-parter. This is a two-parter. So, previously on Mountain Monsters, The whole setup is that Hillbilly Puzzle Master asked them to hunt a bunch of mini bosses to unlock the big boss, Spearfinger. This one was called the Waya Woman, or Queen of the Blood Wolves if you're nasty, which Jeff is. She's a werewolf who screams like a human woman being murdered, and it summons every lone wolf in the area to form a team of lone wolves at her beck and call. Insanely dangerous. Insanely dangerous. Worst of all, her home, the turf they're going to have to battle her on, their original enemy, the corn. It's a cornfield that they're all stuck in. Now, they was all set up at the end of the last episode to trap the Waya Woman. But they had to call off the hunt at the last second because they remembered earlier that day they found a spooky blue house and they wanted to look into it in the middle of their hunt. I'm serious. That's what happened in the finale. It was actually a part of their plan to get distracted. They wrote down on the graphic, they had a CGI graphic where an arrow started going towards the trap to like finish their plan, and then it veered off at the last moment because it got distracted and went to the house.
To me, it was a sign of bad leadership to take the pincer move, which always works. We've seen it work 1,000 times. And then someone else said, hey, let's look at that blue house. And instead of saying, no, we're doing the pincer move, they said, okay, we can do both. And then that's what happens when you design a plan by committee.
Yeah, that's what happened last. They found, when they got to the house, they found a bunch of spooky stuff. They found a really badly drawn triangle. They found some handprints. They found like a video game banner that it costs 20 Waya crystals to unlock. Then they went to check the trap and they found like a weird koosh ball from Etsy in there, like a rustic koosh ball that surely will mean something. So all of those things that I just said, keep them in your head because this is a two-parter. All of them are going to come back. They're all going to come in handy. And
this is just a two-parter. So everything will be tied up at the end of this episode. It's not going to linger into the next episode. Like this is we're doing episodes that tell a complete story. When you finish with this, you should walk away saying, I am satisfied. I have witnessed a complete thing occur.
It's certainly at least the main monsters that we come here to go after, that will be dealt with in a satisfactory way.
Yeah, they got to do all 6 to get Spearfinger.
We will be 1/6 of the way, correct, to unlocking the Spearfinger battle, opening that gate so that you can go in there and fight that boss. Now, there's something that I had mentioned last season. I had warned people that this show was about to take on a layer of polish that you may not like. And I had said that they would start to do bits that would feel written. There is a new credit this season for someone with the role of story producer for the first time. They were not there last year. It's somebody named Brian Rocha, R-O-C-H-A, who does a bunch of this work for other reality shows. This episode, I can see why maybe in the previous episode that wasn't necessarily apparent. This episode, this is written. You can tell there's bits that feel like the amount of lore here and the amount of exposition they're going to task their witnesses with delivering. You will see the hand of a writer here and going forward. And like going forward, you're going to see comedy bits for like Wild Bill that were clearly written by somebody else. So again, the fear that, well, what if this becomes like a real good TV show so that you can't make fun of it? I would say don't worry so much about that. Because it is still, the rest of the crew is still intact with like their sensibilities, but it does take on a layer of complexity, and the effect it has on the storytelling of this show is fascinating.
Also, let it be known, at no point did Jason say a good writer has come on board.
Well, I will say this. If you go to this guy's IMDb, it lists, because like on Mountain Monsters, it lists him on their IMDb. If you go to his credits, he has like a website where he's worked on a bunch of reality shows. Oddly enough, the one he does not mention having worked on is Mountain Monsters. he does not seem, I'm not going to, I know again, it sounds like I'm stalking all these guys. I'm fascinated by their process. I mean that unironically.
Oh, man. For a reality TV show writer to be like, no, I didn't have anything to do with that one.
What's that? What are you talking about?
That was a different guy. That's incredible. All right, so the episode starts. We're in Buck's truck and suck. That's where they do the briefing inside of Buck's truck. I didn't name it. It's a fan poll. It's like Boatface. The fans demanded this. That's just what it's called. Buck says, after our last hunt, we took a few days and we decided we were not done.
Okay.
It took them a few days?
I would also argue they haven't started. Like, they've been within touching distance of the Waya woman 3 times, and all 3 times they're like, I don't think we should do this. So like, I don't know. Deciding to go home before you've started 3 different times, I think you're done. I think that's a type of done.
To recap, a key plot point was they found a stone in that blue house that had a triangle on it etched into the stone, and they decided that it was pointing them in the direction of 3 important locations. And so when traveling in a straight line from one location to the second, they decided that they had run into the 3rd point of the triangle, which if you just make a mental map in your head, it's like, no, that's a straight line. A triangle would have, that 3rd point would be out here somewhere. So part of what is going to bring them back is the realization, wait a second, triangle, that 3rd point, it's going to be over here somewhere.
They don't do shapes until like 5th grade in Virginia.
It wouldn't be 3 spots in a straight line that we mistakenly... The key plot point of the finale of the previous episode was them thinking that maybe the triangle was 3 spots in a perfectly straight line. And this episode will turn on them realizing, wait a second, that's not what a triangle is, which we should have known because there was a drawing of one in that house that we looked at.
That's true. They had a chance.
Even better, the realization that brings them back is, wait a minute, a few days have passed. Did we catch that monster? I don't think we did. I don't think we did catch the monster.
Anything? They did find that one symbol, that one wolf symbol. So they're like 1 out of 30 for that collectible.
They're so conditioned by the format to think we did something, we found something, it's time to get the fuck out of here, that they got the fuck out of the whole show and then had to be like, wait a minute. No, hold on. We have to go back because we were supposed to catch that thing. God damn.
Here's another realization. This is a really important one. They realize she's bigger than 1.3 shacks. The way she tore through that cattle panel. And also she's a ghost. So like a 500-pound ghost is what? Like 9 million cubic miles? Like that's a massive ghost.
I love that they saw that she was stronger than they thought. So now they have to assume, well, she's much bigger than we thought.
Right.
Like there's no...
The dialogue in the truck briefing is that because again, we didn't really explain this, but they kind of bent the cattle panel to imply that she broke out of it. But also the door never closed all the way. They established that too. And so the part of the truck briefing is them saying, oh, she's bigger than what we thought. Because they thought that the Waya woman was a 7-foot-tall wolf monster.
7 foot tall, 400 pounds, so like a holiday shack, like a Thanksgiving shack. But he must be bigger. It must be a Christmas shack because he was able to break out of the cage. You have to be bigger to be strong.
Hold on, let's stop the podcast and write Christmas shack. It should just take like 40 minutes.
He's in, baby. You know he's in. So to end this, they're putting like a bullet point on the whole briefing, and Jeff says, I've been around some big bulls in my life, but I don't understand how it tore that cattle panel. And Buck says, I've been around some big jackasses in my life. They usually sit in the passenger seat of my truck. And you're like, okay, cue the laughter. No. Jeff says, wait a minute, that's where I'm sitting. Well, okay, cue the laughter. No. Huckleberry says, boy, nothing gets by you, Jeff. Now cue the laughter and pull out of the scene to the establishing shot of the truck so we can all enjoy the good sitcom laugh.
And I'm telling you, they do those lines like they had it written in advance. It feels like Jeff saying, wait a minute, that's where I'm sitting. It 100% feels like they had a script that they had in their laps when they did this scene.
Written by the Duolingo owl. or something. It's like it does not scan as English. Like you could have ended that joke 5 lines before. It's crazy you included every variation of like the cliche punchline. And then it's even crazier that you pull out of the truck on the laughter to the establishing shot of the truck, like, oh, and scene, and then come back to the truck again, just like they did last episode. They came back. It's the craziest fucking editing decision they may have ever made. It's just, it boggles my mind every time they do it. Don't come back. Don't come back. It's not an encore. Nobody's chanting your fucking name. Like, it's amazing. So they come back for no reason. Buck just recaps that they found the Halo banner in the blue house, and they forgot to go to the third point of the triangle.
Right. This is him realizing we actually never did go to a third point. Now that I think about it, and it took us days to. And then Jeff ends that with, "It's like a big mystery, isn't it?"
You nailed it. So what was the rabbit altar if that wasn't the third point of the triangle? Was that just like some farmer going through something?
Just for fun.
There's just like unrelated to the Waya woman.
I think we've established they're her pantry stops. They're just like when she needs to get a little bit of energy on the go. It's like grabbing a Slim Jim.
So
she's got a
one
little
pantry, the
station.
chicken pantry stop is a triangle point, but the rabbit pantry is just this unrelated mark on a map.
Yeah, it totally blows apart their entire theory that there are 3 points of the triangle, because if there's this other third thing that's not one of the points, then how we know there's not like 7, how we know it's not like a pentagram thing, and this was just an unrelated triangle in that house, right?
It's a connect the dots that forms the wolf banner. That's what it...
Oh, that's awesome. You get all the collectibles to get one big collectible.
Yeah.
And then it summons Spearfinger. No, I get it.
That's what we're doing. That's the plot of the show right now. It is a video game. So they decide that the third point is also in a cornfield, but the neighbor's cornfield, which is sort of the same corn. I don't know how this works. They're insistent that it's the same cornfield, but this one belongs to the neighbor. So they're going to go meet him. They're going to go meet the first witness, is the neighbor who owns. The
most haunting thing you should set up is that he also owns a corn farm. So it's another corn episode. I want everyone to be ready for that.
The sizzle reel of this episode is entirely the guys being lost in corn. It's just action shot after action shot of, I can't see nothing in this corn.
I would argue they get more lost in the corn in this episode than they have ever been lost in corn before. Yeah. I will give them that. This is a bad episode in many, many ways, but they get so fucking lost in that corn, boy. I tell you. If that's what you're watching for, you're going to come.
Not to put too fine a point on it, because I know we made this joke 36 times in the last episode, but I get that they see the corn as an effective like horror scenario to be in, because the visibility is limited and you can have you can catch glimpses of stuff. Like, I get it, but they don't know what to say, because they get in the corn and they have to have dialogue about how shocked they are. Like, this is unusually thick corn. Like, they've got those lines about how this terrain is like the worst terrain we've ever seen. That's got to be a part of, like, we are such hardcore mountain men that. But then the corn's like, it's the worst cornfield. This corn's so thick. It's like, well, no, it's standardized. Like, you grow it.
Gross.
Like, the machines have to. It's exactly the same as every cornfield you've ever been in. But every time they're going to keep talking about this cornfield, like, man,
they got some great cornfield lines. We'll get to them, but my God, they got some bangers in here where they really start talking about the cornfield like it's the sixth member of the crew now. Just he replaced Trapper with a cornfield, and you can really feel his presence in the story. So the neighbor they're going to, his new cornfield, his name is Pappy, and I've never ever said this about a witness before, but I think Pappy might fuck. I think he fucks. He's got a big. He's got a cane. He's got a big clunky watch. He's got like cool tattoos and a disheveled beard. Like, this is a guy who might fuck, and I've never thought that about a witness before.
But you're gonna think it again a little bit later. The guy that shows up in the truck, when he gets out, it's like, oh, he's
okay. We got some fuckers in this episode.
Because they are casting these parts, and they're having people come read for these parts. And you could tell the actors, because they're hunks. They cast guys who've got a certain energy.
Oh, the Waya woman? Yeah, we had some good times together. Real early McConaughey energy. So they meet Pappy in his barn, and Pappy tells him he inherited this farm from his grandpa, and the deed had what he calls a protective covenant that said he must always plant corn, but he can never harvest it. he just has to let it rot and then plow it down every January.
But see, this is the kind of lore that they would not have improvised. They would not use words like protective covenant deed, asking to see documents, that kind of thing. This is a writer doing writer stuff, but look at what they wrote.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, it's mysterious because I inherited this farm, but it's odd because I was told I had to grow corn every year and then couldn't harvest it. I'm like, well, that's strange. It's like, no, that's insane.
Yeah, that's truly insane.
That's you running some kind of a scam from the government where you're taking grants or loans or something, and then you're just not growing the corn. No, this is something illegal is happening here. There's weed out in the middle of that cornfield that you're hiding from the drones.
You're not allowed to call him a farmer. He's some sort of corn guardian at that point.
I think it's exactly the opposite of how that stuff works. Like, I think they pay you not to farm because you need to rotate the crops, and if you're not farming, then you die. So the government's like, okay, we'll make sure that you don't die during the seasons you don't. Anyway, I'm not an expert on that, but I think what this implies, though, is that the Waya woman has made some sort of a deal with the county to like protect her triangles during the chicken altar season or something. Like, I don't know what this implies, like, supernaturally, other than her like getting involved in the.
It's all going to be explained
Of course.
once we find out, because again, the point is that farm where he's not allowed to harvest corn, that's the third point of the triangle, which Buck explains in a way that, unless you've actually watched the previous episode of Mountain Monsters, sounds like madness. Like, well, we found a triangle symbol in that blue house. The third point pointed to your cornfields. Like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you?
Yeah, I'm not letting you get away from my corn. I don't know what you're going to do out there. It's
I
not
have
wholesome.
a point that's probably going to sound obvious after I say it, but like, I would challenge anyone to go between those three properties with a triangle of any size, point it in any direction, and not have it point at the three properties surrounding the triangle. I feel like finding a triangle and saying this points to two nearby places is like, yeah, that's what a triangle would do under all circumstances. They came to Pappy's house and said, we found nothing and we're here on your property. Can we look for ghosts?
Pappy also doesn't seem to get what a triangle is, though. Like, Buck is telling him about the triangle and how two of the points are on the neighbor's property, so that means the third point is, like, on his property. And Pappy starts nodding really sagely, like, yep, I know where this is going.
I know what triangles are.
Well, it's like, okay, so this point's on Don's property, this point's on Austin's property, and Pappy's like, yep, I know where you're going.
I know them, too. Like, I know that triangle fella. I know those people you mentioned.
I know those guys, is what he says. And you're like, no, that's... You got to let him finish. That wasn't what he was going to say. He wasn't going to say the 2 points of the triangle are on these.
Yeah, we're all triangle
guys'
boys
property.
around here.
Do you know them? Are you friends with them? It's crazy that Pappy assumed he was the next question was, are you familiar with your own neighbors? So Buck asks him if he ever found anything in the corn. The implication is mystical or magical, not more corn. Did you find corn out there? And Pappy's like, yes, I have found something. A coffee can. No. It would be something cool. It would be like a mystic. Like, we found mystical altars where chickens and rabbits were sacrificed, and like a weird triangle, like that. Do you have something like that? Nope. It's a coffee can. And hold on, he explains. Grandpa, the same one that left him a farm that you can't farm on, told him you must never disturb the coffee can of the blood wolves, I guess. I don't know.
It's just he told us as a kid we were not to touch it. We were not to mess with his special coffee can. Clearly his heroin stash that he was hiding from Grandma. Like, your grandpa's got a rusty coffee can buried out in the fields. Like, don't ever touch that. That's mine. That's my special can.
Stack of erotic coasters.
You want to go check that right now? There's something awesome in there.
Yep.
And I keep my gun on the other point of the triangle, and I keep my pornography on that third point of the triangle. It's Pappy's Happy Triangle. That's what I call it. It's how I know where to find my stuff.
Maybe it's because there's a writer, but Buck reacted exactly the same way I would when he heard that he's not allowed to touch a coffee can on a field of corn he's not allowed to harvest. He's like, this is pretty weird. Can I see that deed? Like, what the fuck? And he's like,
are you just lying?
He's like, sure, I have it in a safe.
Yeah, whips it out. He can go find his farm's deed in an instant. Like, now I got it right here. Boom. And it's got like
and show it to strangers.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh yeah, that would be the point of the triangle, right, where that coffee can is. So obviously, got to find a coffee can in the middle of a giant cornfield, thousands of acres, whatever. Got to come back at night. Got to come back in the middle of the night to find that sucker. Definitely can't just walk over there right now with the landowner holding the thing so we can just go see it in broad daylight as
we're not hunting anything. This isn't a hunt for a nocturnal, like the coffee can doesn't come out only at night.
You guys
it's
are
always
nuts.
there.
Looking for coffee cans during the day? That's insane. Insane. It says it right there on the deed.
It looks like it's early in the day, too. They knocked off for a good, 12 hours to come back here. Pappy's like, the next sentence out of my mouth was going to be, I can take you to the coffee can.
Buck had to teach water aerobics.
There. But no, we come back at night. And Buck is rallying up the boys to go find a coffee can. And I would have found another way to say that. I would have said there's some sort of mysterious offering site or a ritual. Yeah. But he's like, no, we gotta get in the corn and find that coffee can. Yeah,
because Wild Bill said, coffee? I'm already on so much meth. Wow.
Boy, you're telling me, Huckleberry says.
Yeah, there's 5 more buttons on that scene.
5 more punchlines. Smash out of the cornfield, smash right back into the cornfield.
But we get Buck saying, these cornfields are beyond dangerous.
The farmers go out in them every day, man.
That's going to be my quote.
It's so funny to me that they're saying that about an actual active farm. A guy comes out here and takes this stuff, and then
you forgetting
people eat it.
They don't. It's against the law. There's a covenant.
You're right.
This cornfield is so haunted, he can only plant it and then has to run away.
Just throw the seeds and run.
So they get in the corn. They get out in that corn. They hear something rustle up ahead and decide it's trying to distract us from finding the coffee can. So we're not going to fall for it all the way. We're only going to fall for it halfway. They do fall for it halfway. He says, okay, we're splitting up. Willy and Wild Bill are going to go get distracted. Me, Jeff, and Huckleberry, Buck, Jeff, and Huckleberry will continue on the actual mission. So once again, they've built the distraction into the plan, which I love. I love so much that we're starting to actually we know we're going to get distracted at some point. Let's just put it in the plan.
Yeah, but I think this is really smart plotting here because they realize if they're just looking for a coffee can, that's not very exciting. So while they're looking for that, then those two guys can go off on an adventure being chased by whatever magical. Again, there's a pack of blood wolves, a unified pack of lone blood wolves in that field. So we're in for, it's going to be switching back and forth between them trying to find this coffee can before the other two get eaten by the wolves. So I'm interested to see how this plays out, how they play up the danger of one while the ticking clock of the other, because they're up against the ticking clock of
the coffee can's structural integrity over time, I guess. Yeah,
they got to get done
it's
before
great.
January because the corn will rot. The unpicked corn.
Yeah, there's your ticking clock, and it's a little weird that nobody's mentioned the blood wolves and the werewolf woman up to this point. I'm sure we'll work our way back around to the central conceit.
Willy and Wild Bill went off to confront them right now. What are you talking about? They're going to go do battle with them right now. This whole scene is not going to be about them finding a coffee can and then just leaving.
So anyway, they find the coffee can.
No, they don't. They find
Buck says.
They arrive in the spot. They think they're going to find a coffee can, but here's where a good writer subverts your expectations.
Buck says, it's a bucket.
Jeff, that ain't no coffee can.
Huckleberry, what's it a-doing here? Haunted by the presence of a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket.
Buck, this don't make sense.
It takes them 300 times longer than you would think to lift up that fucking bucket.
I think
it's like
I
5
know what
commercial
happened.
breaks.
But it's worth it because when they do,
They find
there's the coffee can. Yes,
There's
it
the
was
coffee.
under
Yeah,
the
you're
bucket.
right. There's the coffee can.
it's
Well,
underneath
it's
the bucket.
such a great use of your time. Like when you're on your deathbed and you're wishing you could have some of the time back that you wasted. You're going to think back to the time, the 27 minutes you waited for these guys to realize that in the spot where on the map it said there was a coffee can, there's actually just a bucket. And they all just went around and around. It's like, why? Why? How could this be? It's like, oh, it's under the bucket.
It's okay. It's pretty good comedy to like walk out into a field and like do the mysterious reveal like musical sting, and then show like a piece of garbage, and then be like, "Wait a minute, what's behind that garbage?" And push it out of the way and go, "Other garbage."
More garbage.
Then garbage to garbage reveal. Of course. So Buck lifts it up rather unceremoniously, the coffee can, to find that it's full of spider webs and old nails. So even 3 garbage levels deep we've gone now. It's wonderful. We're just going to keep pulling garbage out of garbage. No, finally, you think I'm joking, but finally he dumps it out. And he's like, what is this amongst the old nails? It's a rusty old bicycle bell. Yet more garbage.
Now, I want the audience
forever.
to stop and think, like, what would you do if you were on this quest to find a thing and it was a bell? What do you do? Just like, what are all the things you can do with a bell? And since Buck is he's a man of action and courage, he takes the bell and it's the thing that makes sounds, and he decides to put it back silently and go home. Figure it out from there. We'll study bells.
Well,
Let's go home. We'll Wikipedia bells. Call it a night here.
Huckleberry has a great moment here after they discover the bell, where it cuts to him for testimonial, and he says, like, keeping in mind that this is a very mystical reveal and like a very haunting discovery, he says, "I've seen a bell like that before. I had one on my bike. We'd ride up and down the road going ding, 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 ding."
It really set the tone.
Like, I admit my improv skills are not good enough to make something haunting out of finding a bunch of scrap metal in a bucket in like a cornfield. I can't turn that into a monster story. But if Huckleberry had been like, I've seen that bell, but it was on the devil's bicycle, or like that's the same bell I had when I was a child. No, I mean it. Here's my initials. Like, I don't know. You could do. You don't explain what a bell is and what a good time you have with it.
But this is why you dispatched the trap team to go off and fight the wolves. So when we cut away from these guys to the trap team who were sent off to go investigate the sounds of a pack of blood wolves, again, that they heard something in the corn, what are they doing?
Buck decides he's become overwhelmed by the bell. And he decides that he has to call. He's so overwhelmed by the bell, he has to call the other team who are out hunting the actual monsters that they should be hunting to bring them back in and just go home.
That's right.
Home for the night. Mm-hmm. That's they're so committed to this like format where, okay, we split up into a pincer, right? And then somebody discovers something and we have to call the other guys back from their high stakes mission. Only they forgot to do the high-stakes mission part for the other team, and they called them back to put a bell back where they found it.
Also, again, they drove hours to get here. I assume it's at some distance. Met with a guy, immediately retired to their hotel, came back in the middle of the night, found their very first clue, and having found the one thing they were sent to go out there and find, they leave it there and go back to the hotel. So they're leaving the hotel for like half an hour. And it's like, no, back in the pool, back to.
Imagine how upset the Queen of the Blood Wolves must be, like, just standing off screen in the corn being like, okay, the second they ring that bell, everybody who's ever discovered that bell rang that bell, I get them. That's when I get them.
There's 5 rogue teams watching them right now.
And
11 different puzzle masters.
Each of them with a frustration fetish. Watching Buck come across this artifact and not even taking it to a place with light to see if there's a message on the bottom of the can or on the bottom of the bell or something etched into the bell, or if there's the number of nails, if the nails have blood on them, if the number of nails is significant. To just look at it.
He got too scared by a bell. He's like, I don't know what this means. It can't be good. We got to get the fuck out of here. In fact, I've got to go call my other team who are doing, or at least pretending to do something exciting, and tell them, no, I found a bell. We got to get the fuck out of here. And they do. They go home. It's like they're on strike. Like, this is what it would look like if the cast of Mountain Monsters were on strike. They would put the bell back and then walk away, and you'd be like, no, you've got to, he didn't even ring it. We've got to give them what they're asking for.
Buck says, after all this, he says, this is somehow all tied together. Which every time they act like they're solving a mystery, it cracks me up. Because they're writing it. They're like, here, look on this map is where the coffee can goes. It's the Waya woman's fucking coffee can and her bell. And he gets there, and it's exactly where the guy said it was going to be. And they're like, wow, I think this means something.
It just now hit me that the writer inserting that thing about, well, this weirdo grows corn and then he doesn't harvest it, that was the cruelest joke he could make to symbolize how the mountain monsters themselves do business. Yeah, it just doesn't pay off. It's weird. I do the part where I set it up, and I do the work of growing the stuff, and I just leave it. Just leave it to rot.
Nobody's eating. Nobody ever eats. So it's the next day. Jeff got a message from somebody named Dave, and he says, you need to talk to my brother. We have to go talk to Dave's brother. And then as they're getting that message, somebody pulls up in a black pickup truck. And to be fair, they do some excellent pickup truck acting, where they make it look like the pickup truck is really shy.
Yeah, really sheepish truck.
Incredible.
It's so good.
Because they want to do the thing like, well, this witness is apprehensive. They're scared to talk about this. But they have the truck do the acting, because it like stops up the lane, and then it comes a little closer. It's like, well, it's nervous. Like the truck is an animal. They have to like coax it closer to them.
It's so good.
And I feel like people who don't watch the show and only listen to this podcast think that this is an incredible comedy that these guys are making. That this is like an I think you should leave sketch. Whether or not these men know this is funny, I think will be one of the great mysteries that will die with our civilization. We will, because they will take this to their grave.
Oh, but it's so funny. He's got like a manual transmission, and he's just like, he'll creep it up a little bit and then back it off just a little bit. Like, are they looking?
The truck like
just a little pickup truck. I'm so scared.
It starts like rolling back and forth the way like a cautious dog would, like a stray dog that you're trying to offer it a treat, and it's like doesn't know whether or not to trust you. It's incredible. It is a Naked Gun bit. It is.
Speaking of, they do another one right afterwards. They say, this guy, he might be a little backward, so we can't have the cameras here. And they point at the camera, and they say, you got to wait here. And that camera does, and so it gets this established shot of them walking away from the camera like 50 feet to go talk to this guy from like a respectful distance. And then they cut to a camera directly behind their shoulder, filming the guy in close-up. So they've asked one camera to stay, and it did, and then brought the other camera with him, where you can fully see his face and everything. And they decide that this is Dave, not Dave's brother. So I guess that was another shy thing where he's like, I'm gonna pretend to be my brother. Oh, never mind, it's not working.
Probably
you guys.
just both named Dave. I just figured they were both named Dave.
And this guy steps out, and it looked like he was wearing chaps for a moment. And immediately I just thought, oh yeah, he's pulling it off. because he's also got like big dick energy about him. Like he is there to act the hell out of this part.
He acts the first part, and it's filmed in such a way that like he's being filmed through the windshield, so there's some sort of plausible deniability that we're censoring this guy's face or like maintaining a respectful distance because he's skittish for the cameras. And then immediately after that scene, he just fucking kicks that door open and wrangles around to the side of the truck. He leans on the side of the truck, throws one arm on it, just full Matthew McConaughey, and is like, well, all right, it's fucking Dave hour now. Let's go. And just
he's got like wraparound shades.
All the attention.
He's like, yeah.
Full hunk mode. It's very funny all the way through. So he takes them into the cornfield to show them what he heard. He heard something in this cornfield. And he explains that it was a kind of tapping. It was a kind of tapping like my little sister used to make. So I guess his little sister was some kind of a horse.
He said she clogged.
Now he says she used to clog as a kid. That's what it sounded like.
It's a clog
and
tapping.
It is so. Again, I'm crediting all of this to that writer they brought in. But all of these witnesses now have a guy later is going to have a several minute long monologue that they wrote for him. But yeah, this guy is just, now again, the rest of the story is going to tell makes no sense. There's no coherence to it, but yeah.
Oh my God, I thought he said clicked. I thought he was using a synonym for tapping. His sister was fucking communicating through clog dance? He had like a sister that could only talk through clogs? That's incredible.
The woman she's a Dutch wolf. She's a Dutch wolf shack.
Man, he thought they were going to use that. He thought they were going to use that so good.
See, I didn't get hunk energy because he's talking about how he saw a little boy in the window of the blue house. And he's now talked about 2 little kids and nothing else. And then he pulls out his phone to show him a video and he says, I got something for you. And see, this is at the moment where I would make a citizen's arrest. Like, I would shield my eyes from anything he showed me and just punch for the sound of his voice. But like, Buck is in. He's like, you telling me you got videos of a little boy ghost? Oh, buddy, you are speaking my language. He's so eager to look at this little boy ghost video. I don't know what it means.
See, you're going to get the drinking game here because he does not say he saw a ghost. He just saw a child. And he's like, I came out to that, I followed that sound. And then he comes out of the corner and he's like, I arrived at that blue house and I heard that tapping. I look up in the window. There's a little boy up there. They forgot the step where it's like the little boy was floating or the little boy vanished or I went into the house and there was no sign of him. No, it's just little boy up there. Like, yeah, there's a kid snuck off to that house to smoke crack away from his parents. Like you just assume, oh, there's a kid. Yeah, there's a kid. You'd be like, oh, is your parents here? Like you shouldn't be up in that house. It's an abandoned house, probably some nails and stuff sticking out.
He is kind of weird in the video. I think he's Mac and Me. Have you seen the film Mac and Me? I think this was.
But
Mac
this is
and
before they show. He's going to
Right.
show them the clip. But yeah, we'll get to it.
So all this should have gone. It's a very simple step they missed, which is just that Dave should have known or reiterated the ghost story of some kind to them. Somebody died in the house. A family died in the house. A little boy died in that house. He says none of that. His character doesn't know that. All he knows is he was walking through that field and he heard some tapping and he's like, you're never going to believe what I saw. I got some video of it because you won't believe it. And then he shows them a video of a little human boy tapping on a window. And you're like, no, dude, those exist. You can just film a little boy tapping on a window. You shouldn't.
And
I don't know. It's weird.
Also, you're giving the show too much credit. In the clip, the boy was not tapping on the window. They forgot to have him do that.
Okay. I couldn't see it very well. I assumed.
Yeah.
But you're right. That was wrong of me. I assumed he'd be clog dancing. Like, maybe you could infer that.
But in
from
reaction
below.
to this video of just a boy, and now, Sean, you're right. In the video, it looks like they may have made him up somehow. He's got a weird face. And I think they may have done some eye makeup or something to make him look slightly undead or something. But it doesn't come across because it's like grainy, horror found footage video. But in response to this, Buck says, I never seen anything like that.
A boy in a house?
And then
Oh,
Dave
goddamn.
defensively, like, you going to say I'm lying now? Like,
Right.
Yeah, there's a
you
boy.
didn't believe me when I said I saw a child in this abandoned house in this farming area where lots of people live. I got video. So again, your response
Then he
should be,
said,
well,
I got lots of video. I do a lot of boy filming around here.
Like, okay, did you go into the house and see if maybe this kid had run away, if his parents are worried sick somewhere? It's like, no, instantly, no, this is ghost. This is a ghost. It's definitely not a child like in there just smoking meth away from his parents.
As we all did, of course, in our rebellious phase. So it's time to meet our second witness. And our second witness...
No, Robert, it's time to meet our third freaking witness.
Third, you're right, third
We
witness.
are loading up on witnesses, and they've all got a lot to say. That's one thing this writer, he wants these witnesses to give like these spooky speeches like a Flanagan show.
And fucking Greg who is our new witness. Greg kicks ass. First of all, Greg is sitting at a picnic table in the wilderness with nothing around. Like, it's not... he's not in a park. It's not by a house. It's just out by a tree. And he says his grandmother was obsessed with the blue house because she's some sort of true crime pervert. And she loved that the family was killed by wild dogs. She just, like, got really into that. But Greg, holy shit, Greg brought the props. Greg brought actual... I paused it to, like, look and make sure they looked at least official. They were coroner's reports. He brought coroner's reports filled out completely to corroborate the dog attack story. Never in a million years would I have imagined that I would pause that footage and find that they actually filled out all of the little informational things correctly.
It's a new era of the show. They got documents with the correct names on them, I paused it too, because to see like, oh my God, how did Buck fill out these forms? No, it's got the little, because again, we didn't mention in the previous episode, the legend of the blue house is that the house burned down and killed 3 people, and then a new house was built on the foundations, and a family of 4 was eaten to death by a pack of wild dogs. And from that, they decided that there must be a curse because that's not a thing that normally happens. So he's like, well, my grandma was obsessed with this case. It's like, yeah, that's weird as hell. It kind of seems like the cops should have been obsessed with the case. It shouldn't be up to her to think that's weird. That's not a thing that happens.
There's another podcast about this murder. Like, there's a successful podcast series with millions of perverts just hanging on every word about this dog attack murder. It should be the most famous thing that's ever happened.
Like, I get that this is a thing that used to happen, like, in the frontier. Like, in 1704, you could get eaten to death by a pack of wolves in your hovel. Like, but that's not a thing that was happening in 2015 or whenever this is supposed to have occurred.
So Craig throws a wrinkle into this that's a pretty big twist. He says, okay, here's the strange thing. The woman they found dead on the scene, she had blonde hair and blue eyes, but the mother, she did not. She was brown-haired, brown-eyed woman. So, and also, further, the coroner did a report on her heart that said it looked like the heart of a much younger woman. Holy shit, what show is this? Like, where is this coming from? It's incredible. You would never believe the entirety of Act 1 was them finding 3 pieces of garbage in a field. Like, this is actual writing of some kind, of somebody who has seen television before. It's so out of place that it's extremely funny.
Now, again, the thing he found is ludicrous, which is that the woman who was eaten to death by dogs was not the mother of the family, and nobody noticed it until his grandmother noticed, wait a second, this is not the mother. This is a woman who is much younger and looks completely different with a completely different build. No one caught that until now. No one, like the surviving family members, nobody was like, hey, this is not her. This is some young babe that dude was porking down with, apparently. The mother is apparently still alive. She's not on the scene. She's apparently still out. She escaped the dog attack somehow or something. But no, it was his grandma that figured that out. Not the coroner, not the cops, not the family members, not anybody else.
So Greg's grandma had photos of the mother's journal, which is super creepy. And every single page said, no lights, turn out the lights on every page. And that's like the precedent that Greg needs to know everything about this horror story. He no longer needs to come up with proof about it. He says, the mother hated all lights, and she would put her children in a closet if they were found with forbidden lights on them. And they would stay in that closet until they said, "Mother, mother, the lights are out" 3 times. So those kids were trapped in that closet for upwards of 5 seconds. Like, you made the ritual too short. The ritual was supposed to be like until the sun came up or something. But if they just have to say "Mother, mother, the lights are out" 3 times, that's nothing. They're just right back out of there.
Yeah, again, there's a layer of complexity that's far beyond what the Ames team would have written, but the result...
But it's also extremely
so much
stupid.
dumber.
Yeah, it's dumber in a way with a lot more layers to it. And a lot more words.
It's Candyman, and he did the writer put it there because he knows, like, okay, later we're going to do the Candyman scene where they have to go they sit in a scary scenario, they say the thing 3 times, something scary happens, right? So,
Well, they say here
this
that
is
kids from
stupid.
the neighborhood do it, and they see a little flicker of light. So,
So
but
nothing,
that actually
really.
gets deconstructed later because then they say something will happen. Oh, that's when you ring the bell. When you ring the bell, something will happen.
And speaking of the bell, he takes out a picture of a bicycle
That's
bell.
right.
And oh, man, the boys do some serious face acting.
Oh, and the music sting.
It's good.
Every music sting that's ever been gets played.
They do 10 horror movie music stings. I wish we had recorded that for the soundboard, but I'm glad we didn't because we would be punching that thing
I think
constantly.
I could do it. I think it went wee, bum 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 bum, wee, gong 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 gong, wee.
And
Something
every
like that.
time somebody's making a new face. Every
Yes.
time one of the 3. But there's only 3 of them there. So it just keeps checking back in. Like, what's Huckleberry going to do this time? And he's like
zooming into
pulling his
their
ears.
eyes.
I don't know. I ran out of things to do. Stop cutting to me.
It just, and then they realize that is the bell from the can. Guys,
Yeah, the bell from the can. Imagine if they had brought it with them.
Imagine if we had went ahead, and collected it as evidence, and we could show it to the guy and say, "Well, does this mean something to you? Should we be doing something with this?"
We have that bell. It would be like the Skyrim quest where you just kill the guy and then you show up and you're like, "Oh, I already completed this quest. I didn't know what it was. I grabbed the bell. Do you want the bell? I happen to have it now." So
it's really
give me
wet
my
with human
experience.
remains. But so the guy says, Greg says that he rang it nonstop in the house. He's just ringing that bell in the house.
Hold on, the
with
little
mother.
boy.
The little boy.
The little
did,
boy
yeah.
was. Yes, not Greg. And the mother would make him go into the cornfield and ring it in the cornfield at night. And Buck says, "That's that third point of that triangle."
He's getting it.
He's putting all the
getting
pieces
it.
together.
I do want to go over the haunting story of the little boy that Greg tells us. Greg tells us the history that makes this bell such a cursed object and like why this is so powerful and scary. And he says that little boy who died in that house, he once had a bike. And the bike, it belonged to the little boy. And then the bike broke and it was never repaired. So he just kept the bell and rang it. But then his mother would get real irritated with him ringing that bell. So she would make him sit outside in the cornfield to ring his bell.
All night in the dark.
All night in the dark.
And in response to that, Buck says, "It's making me think that mother killed her whole family." That's an escalation.
Yeah.
But not out of
Are you
character.
sure she just didn't want to listen to the bell anymore?
Yeah, because I had many similar things in my childhood where my parents asked me to go do that outside.
I once had a bike. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's his haunted
This is
history. is
truly-
He once had a bike and doesn't anymore. It wasn't because he got hit by a car and turned into like a paraplegic or something. No. It couldn't be repaired, but he really liked ringing that bell.
Yeah,
heard
because
about
back
that.
then they didn't have the internet. They didn't have YouTube where kids could just go on there and watch brain rot. So yeah, you would just sit around and just flick a bell for
bell.
hours. There's nothing else to do.
Until your
That's it.
mom's like, "Jesus Christ, go outside.
Go
You have to
out
go
in the
outside."
corn. And they treat it as if these people are as terrified of corn as the Ames team. It's like, well, no, they're corn farmers. He would not be scared of the corn. like he sat there out in the corn by himself. It's like, yeah, it's they live on a corn farm. This is not weird to them. It shouldn't be weird to you.
I mean, to be fair, they're the ghosts. So they didn't have to be scared of ghosts back then. It wasn't torture for him to go out in his yard because you didn't say the yard was full of ghosts, because he's the ghost, remember? You're like, all right.
Was he a ghost
I guess
already?
the ghost.
I thought he was still a human boy when he went to the field.
No, he was still a human boy. That's what I'm saying. Is Buck is like, oh my God, it's so terrifying out here. How could they make that little boy come out here? No, it wasn't terrifying to him. He's the thing you're terrified of.
It wasn't haunted then. It's haunted now.
By him.
By him, because he would go out there and ring his bell. And so they...
Holy shit, did you guys say bell? That bell's probably the bell they found in the coffee can. Sorry, I'm just catching
I bet
up.
that's the third point of the triangle.
So somebody's going to say, how does this tie into the Waya woman? That's a good question. I wonder if this entire episode is going to end with us still having no clue whatsoever how we'll see.
I thought
Jeff
the mom just
actually
became
has
the
an
Waya
answer.
woman. Or no, wait, the Waya woman's like 1,000 years old, right?
And a werewolf.
Well, yeah. But I figured like the dogs came in and ate everybody, but then didn't quite eat the mom. But the timeline doesn't add up. It's a dumb idea.
No, but the Waya woman was queen
Holy
of the
shit,
dogs,
that
so.
bell is this. That's a bell from the coffee can.
Jeff thinks he has the answer when Buck says, somehow this ties into the Waya woman. Jeff says, well, the only thing that I can see is that the Waya woman, this lady, the mother, there's some direct connection there. No, Jeff, the question is not the answer. It's not like some Zen koan shit. Like, you can't just say the question again and be like, I think I have the answer. No,
I love it. I wrote down a quote here. This is not my quote of the episode, but Buck says, Greg said if you go out in that cornfield and ring that bell, something's supposed to happen. I don't know if I believe that, but I do know being out in those cornfields at night, that's scary enough the way it is. What a hero.
Corn is just so scary, even if there's nothing else out there.
Bell or not, I'm not going there.
So let's just, before we move on, let's hear it for Greg or whoever played Greg the Witness. That was a 6-minute long exposition dump they gave this guy. And if you don't think 6 minutes is a long time for a scene in a TV show, it is. Like, he had to deliver, he had paperwork, he had documents he had to go through, 6 different turns in the plot or whatever. And also, left unspoken, how ridiculous this makes the Ames team that none of this is what brought them out here. Like, this should be a very famous story in the cryptid community. This house, woman, family eaten by dogs in this area around the Waya woman, like, they should not just now be finding out about any of this.
They should have to, like, make a reservation to book a tour to come through this house at this point. Also, this scene really should have ended with Buck just reaching over and slapping Jeff in the back of the head and being like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, this is your
See
job.
this? This is what we want from you.
See how this woman, like, found documents? She didn't go on Wikipedia and find, like, what the county was named after. She went and dug up, like legal documents from the coroner's office. She got the case file from the cops.
I wrote down that Greg is probably a werewolf. I thought he was way more helpful than was reasonable. So I thought this is some sort of a trick. I feel like they're being fed information by the Waya woman. And so it's just a theory.
I think that's giving Greg too much agency, because my favorite thing about Greg is that when this scene ends, they all get up and shake his hand and walk away, but Greg remains seated at this picnic table in the middle of nowhere. He's not like, okay, my business, I'm going to go too. He's still got to he's got to wait there until they return with, like, the uncursed bell to get their experience points or something. Like, he's just got to, that's where he dwells.
If they directly go back and talk to him, he just says, so have you had any luck finding that bell? Come back. So have you had any luck finding that bell? Come back. So have you had any luck finding that bell?
Oh, poor
you
Greg.
Want me to repeat what I told you earlier?
He's never going to deliver those experience points. They're just going to rot in his pocket like so much corn. So they go and they meet up with Willy and Wild Bill, and they say Buck says they no longer believe the family was killed by wild dogs, which is a crazy thing to say. Did the mother kill them with wild dog jaws tied to boxing gloves? Like, what do you think happened then? That's not what you decided. They were killed by wild dogs. He now thinks it's the
That's
mother
called a
somehow
teen wolf,
killed them.
by the way.
She teen wolfed him to death. Buck says, all right, normally at this point, we'd be going after the Waya woman, but the whole investigation switched around when we found out about them kids. Because the truth, that's more important.
Yeah, Buck.
No, actually.
If Buck
it
hears
isn't.
about ghost kids, forget the previous plot. We're doing the ghost kids thing.
You actually did go after the Waya woman, and then you forgot. And then the whole reason you're here is that whole, like, quest thing. You can't... But no, we told the quest that this whole, I guess, show is based on now to go fuck itself. Right now, we're doing the ghost thing. We like
He
the
does
ghost
this
thing
all
better.
the time. They have a plan, then Buck thinks, what if there's ghost kids? And then now it's a ghost kid thing. He's done this like 3 different times.
So Huckleberry has a new plan. He wants to go full Candyman. He's going to do the Candyman scene. He's going to go back into the house, into the closet. And as he says, who knows? Oh, no, he says, God only knows how long those kids had to stay in that closet. Again, 5 seconds. We've established it. You say, mother, mother, the lights are out 3 times.
And in fact, they're going to demonstrate it.
Yeah,
They're going
he's
to
out
do
there
it,
to
and
do
it takes
that.
a few seconds. Yeah, they're actually, yeah, it's...
These guys have the investigation skills of every 6th grader who has ever lived in this county. I just want to throw that out there, that what they're doing here has been done by every child who has ever heard this story.
Keep that in mind, that they have established in their own lore that this thing they're about to do is something that children around here do for fun on sleepovers.
And it will look like it in practice. It will look very childish. Jeff is going to go with him for the big boy dare. I was really hoping the scene was going to end with them being like, Willy, we need you to build a trap for a little boy.
I'll build
what's the natural
a little
food
boy
source?
closet trap.
Closet's gonna spring shut right on him. So Buck is on a different mission. He's gonna go ring the little ghost bell alone with no light, because that's all part of it somehow that he knows. Nobody specified that until now, but he's gonna make it extra scary. You can't have no light, can't have nothing. It's just gonna be him and his camera, because that doesn't count. Ghosts don't count the cameras.
We know Buck likes ghost kids and Blair Witch scenes, so we already know that's his thing.
Also, the little boy wasn't the one that hated lights. The mother hated the lights. He liked bells, was his thing.
There was no light rules about the corn. He could have brought a flashlight or a lantern. He could have done anything he wanted in the cornfield. All he had to do was ring the bell outside the house.
Now, they do have a problem here in that they did not think of anything for Wild Bill and Willy to do.
It's too bad there's not like a third point of some kind. For like the team to split up into 3 different parts and go to each point and do something.
So what they had Wild Bill and Willy do is stand kind of in the middle. And if somebody was getting torn apart by ghosts, they would shag ass, that's their quote, towards the person being killed by ghosts.
That's
And that's
literally
the
what
plan.
they're told.
Do what? And do what? Shoot the ghost with a ghost
Shoot the
shotgun?
ghosts.
What are you going to do?
That's right. They are just to hang out and wait to, if they hear somebody screaming, they're supposed to come running after them. That is their mission. They could
To
not
watch
think
them.
of another thing to have them go do.
That's so... they just such surplus in this episode. So that's somehow the fucking plan. We're gonna do 2 children stare, and somebody else, 2 members of the team are just gonna mill about in the corn and wait.
Do you guys have
so-
in your notes how many times they use the phrase "something is going to happen"? Because Buck, when they ring the bell, Buck says something's going to happen. I have 7 times that's very specifically what they're expecting is something will happen. And
Something, yes.
We switch back and forth between the 2 halves of the team, each taking on a mission that it has been established children have done in the past and were totally fine. So Huckleberry says, Jeff and me, we're going to head upstairs and we're going to each take a turn in the closet. And then Buck, you cut back to Willy and Wild Bill are standing out in the corn doing absolutely nothing. Then we cut to Buck. Here I am, right up against the corn. I'm a grown man and I'm scared to death to go in there. That being said, it's time to get in the corn.
It's time to get in the corn. They have so many corn catchphrases. There's so many cool things to say about, let's get in that corn. Time to get in that corn. Here I am, my back against the corn again. Oh, there's blood on the corn, boys.
And then Huckleberry has to force himself into that closet. He is scared to death of what's about to happen. This thing that children do for fun.
And he once again talks up like, my God, that mother was such a monster. She made that poor boy come out to these ghost-infested cornfields and ring a bell all night. No, dude, the story was the boy loved ringing that bell so much that the mother was like, if you want to ring that bell, you have to go outside. And he did.
He took the
so,
deal,
like,
yeah.
you are where his happiest memories occurred, of just sitting in a cornfield ringing a bell with nobody to tell him to stop. You're terrified. You're scared to death of it.
Before video games, that's what we did for fun.
Yeah,
We
you
broke
went out
our
at night
bikes,
and
we
rang
rang
a bell in the corn.
Yeah.
That's
To remember
was
the
not
bikes you
much.
once had.
I'm barely exaggerating.
Yeah, I'd done stupider.
Yeah. No, me and a friend there was a junkyard. We would crawl around the junkyard looking for sharp pieces of metal we could maybe make little knives out of.
Yeah, there was a big field next to my house in San Diego when like the tail end of the monsoons would come. We'd just go around and wallow in the mud like pigs. Like that. No goal. Like, that's just what you do. I guess I'm still haunting that field in a way. So if Buck was there, he would be terrified to death of my positive memories.
I used to make the regular He-Man kiss the blue He-Man. I like the idea of that haunting the field.
Yeah. No, that's the closet. That's what's happening in the closet. You gotta say He-Man kiss He-Man 3 times before you can come out of the closet.
Explore these feelings.
He-Man explore these feelings. He-Man explore these feelings. So Huckleberry gets way too intense, and he explains that he made this is almost a quote, he made an Appalachian Hill promise to go into the closet alone. For the kids, for the children.
Yeah,
But it's established that in order for this to work, he cannot take a camera in there. Because obviously, if you had a camera with you, the summon wouldn't work.
Right.
Right.
Ghosts hate that.
That's
Ghosts hate cameras.
established. Yeah, that's why.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, let's cut back to Buck with his camera in the cornfield. Like straight from that scene. From him saying the cameras can't come in here. The next scene is Buck talking into the camera. And he's trying to riff on corn for some reason. He's just like, the thing about corn is, I don't know. It's like in rows. Just kind of talking to the camera, I guess.
He sees some corn on the ground. He's like, I think something big came through here.
just corn goofing.
You know,
He seems kind of grouchy. I think probably because he's an obese coward on a spooky night hike. I'm guessing that's why he's not having a good time.
He wanted closet job. You know he wanted the closet job. So back in the house, the text scroll tells us it's been 15 minutes and Huckleberry is still in there chanting, Mother, Mother, the lights are out, which is very funny because that's not the ritual. The ritual explicitly was 3 times. So you might as well have cut back here and been like 6 hours later because it's not working. He's getting hoarse.
What I love about this scene is that it's just got Jeff like kind of looking awkward outside the closet door while Huckleberry is narrating like a ghost encounter. So he's like, oh, the little boy's here. And then I think the little girl shows up. Like, they need to stop him so quickly or the predator is going to show up. He's like, oh, the boys they're merging into Devastator. Oh, now they're fighting the Autobot one. Superion, I want to say. No. Voltron, it's Voltron. Oh, so cool in here, Jeff. Oh, my God. Shaq's here. He brought Doritos.
Christmas Shaq, he's got presents. Oh, they're all basketballs. Infinite basketballs from the bag.
Oh, Jeff, it's a wonderland, Jeff.
So Jeff's job is just to act really spooked. He puts his ear to the closet and he hears the little girl voice whispering, she's coming. She's coming. Which, like, you can't put Huckleberry in a closet with the little girl whispering she's coming over and over and expect it to come across as wholesome. It's a bad scene. It's a bad vibe.
He's doing it for the kids. He did this for the kids, remember?
You know why I think it took him 15 minutes?
For the memory of the local children who died from dog attack.
It took him 15 minutes because those ghost children saw Huckleberry come into the closet and start the summoning ritual, and they were like, "Oh, I'm not going out there. I'm not. What does that guy want with ghost children? He doesn't want something good. Like normally 6th graders come in."
Yeah, it's kind of fun when other kids come do it. We kind of like to appear in front of them and scare them a little bit. But yeah,
No,
this is something different.
This guy wants something, and we're not going to do that. But no, he forces them into existence. There's a big growl and a bang, and Huckleberry comes running out crying, and he tells Jeff, "I was taught not to cry. I was taught not to show emotions."
He has never demonstrated that for 1 second. This man is constantly screaming in anger and crying.
Yeah, because Jeff says, "I've never seen this man cry in his entire life." It's like, we've seen him cry several times, I think just last season.
Also, he's confronting his toxic masculinity based on his encounters with ghost children.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm down for that.
Where the middle school kids ran out of the closet giggling, I saw it. Huckleberry is just crushed by this.
Destroyed.
I'm a Vulcan. We do not demonstrate our emotions to human ghosts. They're not running away. It's also worth noting they're not running away. The ghosts are like, "Oh, hey, you did a lot of work to summon us. Here's our advice. Get the fuck out of here." They're like, "Let's talk about your feelings for an hour."
Well, there's a very good reason they don't run away. We will get to that. We'll get to that reason. Meanwhile, we cut back to Buck, who dramatically reveals the bucket. Again, you forgot that's what, as he's hyping this up in the corn, like, "I'm going to die in this corn." He's out there to get a Home Depot bucket, like a paint bucket.
Hold on. He says that kid, the idea that this kid could do this, what he's doing, he must have been tough as nails. And he's also sitting next to a pile of nails when he says that. And I don't know if that's his improv or if the writer is just a total dick and put this into the script. I don't know. I hated it, but I don't know why I hate it.
Okay, so he tips the bucket over to find the mystical coffee can. Remember, it's nested garbage all the way down. And he finds the bicycle bell, and he turns the lights out and explains the infrared light, humans and animals can't see it, and he lets you complete the implication. So ghosts can't see it either.
Yeah.
And again, acts like he's just totally confident in this information. Like, well, this infrared light this won't count for the.
This doesn't count as a light because ghosts can't see infrared. Everybody knows that. Just like Mothman can't teleport through electricity. These are scientific facts.
He does not say that means we'll soon have definitive proof of ghost. Guys, this is going to fucking happen finally here tonight. I'm going to get. It's like that's not even a part of the show. Like none of this is about getting footage of the supernatural, even though they're doing a very ghost hunty type show. Like this is the type of show that you would see all over the place where they're trying to prove ghosts exist. It's just like, no.
Well, now, hold on. Sean, back at the house, Jeff is going to take his turn in the closet. Now that they know how to summon the ghost, obviously he's going to bring the camera in,
of course,
to record the proof of ghosts.
You're right.
The reason they're making the show is to document the existence of these beings. So that's surely the thing that's about to happen now.
You're right.
Or
my mistake.
If it's not to just document the existence of these beings, at the very least, we know the ghost story, right? It's here to like free the children from this eternal hell that they've been trapped in.
I like this because Jeff does take a turn in the closet while Huckleberry just weeps. Like because he saw a ghost of a little kid. He's like, he just can't deal with this. Is what, the 70th time he's seen a ghost? This guy's a survivor of Bigfoot molestation. So I guess maybe that's
cycle of abuse.
Yeah, he's going through a lot.
Jeff enters the closet because they said he wants to experience the folklore himself.
That's what the text scroll says. Jeff wants to experience the folklore himself.
But he does not take a camera in there because he's not doing this. This is not a show. He's not doing this to entertain you. He's doing it to experience it for himself. Why would he? It's disgusting that you think that this should all be on camera. That's not why they're here.
You gotta get out there and experience the folklore. Everybody always says that. That's the thing people do.
Jeff is not prepared for this. Like, Huckleberry will make up a predator if you leave him alone. Jeff gets in the closet and he says, and I quote, "No way. Oh my gosh."
You see a pool of urine just flowing out from under that closet door.
Jeez. Oh, buddy. Oh, no. The little girl whispers run, and there's another growl, just like with Huckleberry. Jeff screams and runs out of the closet, and Willy and Wild Bill decide this is the call for backup that they were intended to do, and they run into the blue house. Now, remember, Huckleberry is already in there with Jeff with his, I'm assuming, anti-ghost assault shotgun. I'm assuming he, like, dipped it in, I don't know, ghost poison or something to, like, repel ghosts. So the only one without any kind of backup is Buck. And they're just like, gotta go help the guys with the assault shotgun for some reason. So now Buck is freaking out on his own. Jeff says the mother came after him and she had blood all over her mouth, and it was the most grotesque thing that he's ever seen. And that's coming from Jeff. He has to change himself every single day. They're all reunited and they decide, okay, one thing happened. We got to get the fuck out of here. It's time.
Hold on.
It's time.
They are not that urgent to get out of there. They hang out for a while next to the real life actual ghost that wants to kill them. That Jeff is like, no, it's dripping with blood. She lives right there. This closet we're touching.
But when they do decide, we have to get out of here in a hurry. I believe that's almost his exact words. We have to get out of here. Like, the mother's angry. The mother ghost is coming. So we're going to need Willy and Wild Bill to go get the Forest golf cart.
To come pick us up.
And come back and pick us up.
And it's great, too, because Huckleberry's still kind of pouting because he's gotten spooked by the ghost. He's like, you gonna get me the 4x4.
I want to go home. I want to walk.
Yeah, but when those guys leave, he reveals to Jeff he found something in that closet. He doesn't want to show it to him right now. He'll show it once everybody gets together.
Something real relevant. Secret. Now, my immediate thought was, okay, so they haven't captured or accomplished anything, but maybe it will be whatever artifact they need from the Waya woman to, like, unlock all of the various mini bosses to fight Spearfinger. Like, I don't know. It's a jewel or a scarab or something that you have to inspect in your menu.
What if it was a wheel and they have to build a sacred bicycle?
Yeah.
They have the bell.
It's something, you know?
That's
like
right. It's assemble it piece by piece and then ride it to the Spearfingers arena.
That's how you beat him. It's a bicycle race. That's the only thing he'll do.
Who on this team can ride a bicycle for 10 miles? Ooh.
Willy, you're up. Willy, it's time to shine.
Wild Bill could do it, but he would fuck her. He'd ride it off a cliff instantly.
Yeah, that's a lot of goofing. It's just incredible to me that they're like, okay, we've completely forgotten about the Waya woman. We've forgotten about the Queen of the Blood Wolves and all of her wolves. We've gotten lost in this ghost story here, but they still have the presence of mind to think, okay, we need to find the artifact. And, like, that's what bringing a writer on board has done. It's kept them on track, you know? So we're at least gonna fulfill this step of the quest. I'm happy that they recognize their weaknesses enough to, like, address this going forward. So they're waiting for their ride out of Ghost Town. And we do the cut again. The same time cut that Huckleberry got, and the text scroll tells us it's been 40 minutes since Buck rang the bell. He's been sitting there for 40 minutes just going,
it's a full day of work
I guess
for
that
a
didn't
mountain
work.
monster. Yeah, for the Ames team, that's like a full shift.
The dramatic tension has had 40 minutes of nothing to ramp it up. We're like, okay, you establish the ritual. You ring the bell, something happens. You say the thing 3 times, something happens. So it sucks if nothing happens. It's clear that these ghosts, they don't want to hang out. They don't want to hang out. So he's still out there. Buck is still out there, just kind of rambling about how brave and sad this boy was, forced to come alone to ring a bell and have just the best fucking time of his life. And now he finally hears it. He hears the bell ring. And he makes that Blair Witch face. And then immediately ruins the moment by saying, I didn't do that.
Yeah, we know, dumbass.
Yeah, that's...
That's what's
this-
scary about this.
God, he ruined it so hard.
The spooky thing to happen, obviously, is for his bell to start ringing itself. In a movie, that's what would happen. The little thing would start going on its own. But they obviously don't have the technical ability to pull that off, even though I feel like they probably could with a little effort. And so he's got to like make a point of like, well, look, this bell's not doing anything. There's some other bell ringing. Oh, it's ringing all around me.
So there's another ghost bell? Somebody else liked their bike a lot? Because this is the bell. You can't...
Yeah.
If there's another bell, does the Queen of the Blood Wolves also have a bell? Like, what are you saying?
Is it the boy? Is it like what's the thing that's
Does
happening
the
here?
bell have a ghost? So it's like the bell?
He says, quote,
He's the
that
ghost
can't
of the
be the
bell?
little boy. And I wrote in my notes, haha, why not? Because why the fuck?
Why not? Why the fuck not?
Because again, they never established what this was supposed to do, and in fact, they kept it vague. They kept saying something happens, you'll see something. So Buck in his improv never quite figures out. So he's going to decide that like the wolf woman dings when she walks because she was mad about the bell in her when she was alive, or
She taps, she growls, she screams, and now she dings.
It's not the terrifying image you think it is to have the werewolf queen riding a ghost bicycle around the corn. Like, that's adorable.
She's a one-man band out there. That's the third point of the triangle.
Oh, she's got the clogs on too. Man, she can do it all. So there are little roars and corn shakes they're doing, and Buck's strategy to this is, of course, to whip out his gun and just start blasting. No, he yells, "Leave me alone! Leave me alone! You came out here and rang the bell, dude!"
he
I wrote
shouts,
down his. Yeah, go ahead.
"Go away, go!" Like he's yelling at a dog that's trying to get at his picnic lunch.
Like he's being haunted by raccoons.
No,
Just-
your profession is to hunt and find and document these creatures. You came out here specifically to summon it. If not that, what were you doing? And then at the moment something shows up, it's like, no, get out of here. Then why didn't you just stay home? You don't
That
have to
ghost-
be out of here.
That ghost is so mad. Like, oh, I came all the way out here from the house. Like, I don't know why you're even here. The coffee
wanna
can. The
read his
coffee can's
quotes.
not anything.
They're so good. He says, "Go away, get. Where'd you go? Hey, I got to do something. Ah, I'm out. I don't know where I'm at. I need to get out of here right now. Ah, get away. What was that thing? There's something follow me. It looked like a wolf." So it took him all that time to remember, oh, right, wolves.
However,
okay.
Go ahead, Jason. You're going to say the same thing I am.
He's going to run through the corn, and they're going to do a flash frame of, and it's the woman of the woods.
It's the exact mask, right?
It's
It
the
is.
same outfit, the same whatever they did, the makeup, whatever. It's like an undead woman. It's
Spirit
the
Halloween
exact
mummy.
woman. So I thought that was the twist of the episode. It's like, oh crap! It's the woman of the woods has followed us out of the dark forest. That's the thing that's going on. And instead, he looks at it and says, "It was a wolf." And I don't know.
But you put it on camera.
Well, no, see, I've been trying to figure, because for the rest of this episode, he's going to tell the rest of the gang, I saw a wolf. I saw a wolf creature. So obviously there's no reason that shot of the thing coming out of the corn had to have been shot at the same time they filmed Buck running through the corn. I think the part of the production who went to get the actress who does their woman monster in every episode, it's the same woman, I'm pretty confident it's somebody on the crew, there was a miscommunication, or they just straight up did not have a wolf costume, where Buck is trying to like play up. No, it's a 7 foot tall. They described this thing. It's a 7 foot tall wolf woman monster, and he had to have known that's a check that the production team can't cash. It's like, well, we've got the woman of the woods costume and nothing else. Will that work? And it's like, well, no, not at all. You've got to blur that or something. Only show her from the like. it's got to be in silhouette. Like if you don't have a wolf costume, we've got to figure something out. But it's like, no, Buck never saw the creature video and they never reconciled this. It's very weird.
I thought, okay, here's what I thought happened, right? They completely fucked off from the whole Waya woman, Queen of the Blood Wolves thing this whole episode. And it must have been very frustrating to see for the rest of the crew, who presumably have human intelligence and like object permanence. And they're just like, what are we doing? Like, we just stopped. I made wolf props here. Like, what am I supposed to be doing with this shit? And so finally they're like, all right, you know what? These are the stars. We got to go along with them. And they made up the costume. They just, maybe put a couple of different cuts on the Woman of the Woods mask. And they're like, they want to do this ghost story of the evil mother who hates lights. So we're going to put the evil mother out there. And he's going to run away and he's going to see the evil mother. And then fucking Buck, after a whole episode of forgetting about it, it's like, oh my God, it's the Waya woman, the Queen of the Blood Wolves. And they're like, God damn it. We just made you were doing the cursed mom thing. Are you fucking kidding me?
And in fact, everything else for the rest of this episode, spoiler, is going to be about, this abusive mother was the real monster. And it's like this poignant, it's this writer trying to do like a Mike Flanagan show, it's family trauma. That's the real horror. And it's like everything else has been built up to that. They're going to spell it all out, except for Buck, who keeps saying, it was a wolf. I saw a wolf. Like, no,
we were supposed to remember the wolf. I was playing tag with the wolf mummy. No, we're doing the Flanagan thing, man. Come on.
So good. I mean, corn's the real
he runs
enemy.
out of the corn.
They ask him where he is because they're going to come pick him up in the side by side, and he says, and I quote, "I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost."
In the corn, of course. I'm in the corn. What else would I be?
Well, when he jumps in the golf cart, it's going to say, "I want out of here. I want nothing to do with that corn."
I want nothing to do with that accursed corn, my greatest enemy. And they do. They get the fuck out of there. They regroup over by their trucks. Just
where the danger is totally over. They arrive at the truck. It's like, all right, let's all get out and debrief. It's like, well, you're like 100 yards away. Are you sure that thing can't make it over here?
Imagine their hillbilly puzzle master just like sitting in his truck again. Okay, come on. You did the exact same. You can't keep doing this. You cannot keep running away at the pivotal. You're supposed to be monster hunters.
I want to recap this episode. 2 of them cried at an empty closet, and one of them abandoned his entire life as a monster hunter when he heard a child's bicycle in the corn.
And Buck says, I never knew it was going to be so scary out there. If I knew how scary it would be, I would not have done that.
The greatest monster hunters in the country. According to the perverts who sent them out here so they could jerk off to their failure.
It was too scary. If you would have told him in advance, it's good. You're going to hear a bell out in the corn. He would have been like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. That sounds really scary. What do you do? What's your job?
Buck is so consolable, though, because Huckleberry's like, we saw 2 ghost kids in the closet, and Buck is no longer scared. He's like, what's this about ghost kids? Completely forgets his trouble. I don't know if it means anything. Again, I don't know if it means anything.
Huckleberry weirdly says, you're going to think I'm completely insane when I tell you I saw ghost kids. First of all, Jeff also saw them. And second of all, that's what you came out here to do. Buck was haunted by the child's bicycle, I guess? I mean, the bike that was never repaired? Ooh. Huckleberry says, but I have something you can't make up. And he takes what he found in that closet and he says, God, when you see this, your skin is going to crawl. And he sets down a totally normal picture of a lady. And he says, that's the mother. That's a whole different kind of monster.
And I just imagine the writer of this episode, like writing that line. It's like, that's right. This
is what's going to get me the Emmy.
You guys were making a stupid Bigfoot show, but this abusive mother who made their child leave the house because he was ringing that bell for 14 straight hours, that is the real monster.
And this also means, no, it was not an artifact that proves that they hunted the Waya woman to unlock the spear finger. They don't have the Waya woman. They didn't get any answers. They didn't get an artifact or a key or anything. They've made absolutely no progress on anything they've tried to do. They, in fact, stopped hunting the monster they were supposed to be hunting to tell a Mike Flanagan ghost story about a mother who was just couldn't take any more goddamn bell, which I relate to. It's so incredible that they managed to fail this hard in every direction.
I know that this is a pointless exercise. You two, what in your mind do you understand the scenario to be in terms of that house, the blue house, the triangle, the dead family eaten to death by dogs, the abusive mom, the two kids who became ghosts because they're, and then how that versus what they said about the Waya woman and what the Waya woman, again, the Native Americans said they'd seen the Waya woman 200 years ago. What is your understanding of what has occurred here now that this episode is over and they have finished this part of their hunt and are this much closer to the spear finger?
I don't know if I have an understanding so much as like what I would do if I was brought on as a writer. I would say that the Waya woman, I'm going to try to answer sincerely. I think the Waya woman would have been like a Wendigo type of creature that like isn't necessarily a single creature, but like something that happens to you if you're an abusive mom who gets eaten by dogs. And so
the dogs, do you think, so the mother turned into a creature and that's what the authorities thought was a dog attack. It was actually this mother ate her fam. She became a dog and ate. Well, and then, but who was the 20 to 24-year-old blonde woman that they didn't, that wasn't the...
We could add like a adulterous affair. Like her husband was having an affair. And so she killed the family like a dog might. And that was enough to turn her spirit into the Waya woman, maybe.
That's not bad for a plot of a ghost hunting show. That's actually, when you spell it out.
Okay, I think, here's my theory. I think on one point of the triangle was the Waya woman, right? And on another point of the triangle was the ghost mother who hates bells and loves getting attacked by dogs. And that third point of the triangle was Pappy. And he was the secret all along. He's like the mastermind of this whole thing. Because he has the protective covenant of the corn, right? So he's just trapping all these ghosts in his corn so that he can grow the best goddamn corn in the county and then just plow it right over because it's not even what he's about.
Just to taunt the neighbors.
Yeah, just so they'll all know he has show-winning corn and he doesn't fucking need it.
So you guys are really struggling to get your corn to come in this year. It's too bad. You see mine?
It's real. You should taste it. It tastes like ghosts.
I just like to look at it.
Why does it sound like 500 bicycle bells and screams?
When you pop it, yes. It's all the ghosts that he's trapped just screaming and being released as you pop it. And it's very festive. It's a delicacy. It's incredible how far they regressed to like... I actually kind of love it. It's so impressive that they were like, the Dark Forest thing didn't work out, right? Let's go back to the Monster of the Week thing. And then instead of going back to the Monster of the Week thing as they were doing it right before the Dark Forest came out, they went all the way back to like season 1, where they're just like, no, we're going to forget absolutely everything we learned, including like, this whole thing should have been the Thunder Axe, right? They're just doing the Thunder Axe. We've got to solve the riddles, find the 3 things, assemble it, and then we meet, the big bad, or we defeat the big bad, or whatever. You learned how to do that. On the show, we watched you, and we were so personally proud of you. Like watching a child learn to walk. We were like, my God, they're discovering how basic storytelling works. And they forgot it. Amazing. What an amazing show.
But now they've got a guy who was specifically hired to craft the story for this show, so they're in good hands. They brought in the professional.
Immediately did that fucking humans are the real monsters bullshit. Like immediately. I can't wait.
and it made no goddamn sense. You've introduced a new member of the team, and it's the writer, and he's gonna fuck things up worse than anybody. It's incredible. All right, but that was it. That was it for this episode. What is everybody's favorite quotes? Jason, how about you?
So I had written down 36 lines about corn. Instead of any of that, When the witness, I think it's Dave, he has the video of the little boy. When he pulls up the video, and it's just a boy standing in a window, then he walks away. At the bottom, they've added a watermark text that says, actual video.
Couldn't think.
Like, well, yeah, it is a video. I mean, we didn't doubt that. I love it.
It's awesome. It's so funny.
All right. Sean, how about you?
We read some of my favorite. This was Buck, and it was towards the end of the episode. He said, I want nothing to do with that corn. I want nothing to do with that house. I just want to get to my truck. He is so courageous.
The leader. He is now the leader of the monster team. You can't be the leader and the comedic scaredy cat relief. Like, you can't put Shaggy in control of the team.
It's so funny. He said at so many points in the episode, he's like, fuck all of this. Fuck the whole idea of my life.
All right. My favorite quote is when they first tip over the bucket to reveal the accursed mystical coffee can. Buck says, there it is. An old rusty coffee can. Jeff says, look how old and rusty that is. Perfect addition. We need you on the team, Jeff.
Yep.
Couldn't have done it without you.
I can't believe this is a real show.
Because you have to be a Bigfoot teacher. You have to open up your mouth. You have to be a Bigfoot teacher. All your friends are so knocked out. You have to have the last word last night. You know what everything's about. You have to have the white hot spotlight. You have to be a Bigfoot light.